worn tires, but remember, he's down a cylinder, so I think that's really going to hurt that outside line.
Yeah, but you see there, you saw him even with the down the cylinder, he spins the tires, but he gets up out of the way. Clint Boyer in the 50-15 gets up out of the way like he should.
Matt Kenseth under fire. Johnson to the bottom of the racetrack. Snatches the lead. Here comes Earnhardt looking to Johnson's inside.
Look, I know it's a minor little thing.
Trouble, turn 4.
And another big one.
Greg Biffle was sideways and everybody ran into him.
Oh my gosh.
It's Ricky Stenhouse and Kyle Larson. Regan Smith.
Greg Biffle, a lot of damage to the rear of that 16 car. Tony Stewart, that, you know, it's good without caution-free cautions.
Now Clint Boyer trying to be way up high and out of the way. Could that have bottlenecked turn 3?
I'm thinking it could have.
There's Boyer. No, it's in front of him.
He had nothing to do with it.
Joe Nemechek and Biffle get together. 16 and the 34, and then everyone else piles in.
Just a big chain reaction.
Yeah.
So that absolves Clint Boyer of any blame. We're looking back as everybody rushes in. Biffle and Nemechek get together there. Nobody can check up in time.
No, Boyer got hit from behind by the 17 of Stenhouse. Appears Boyer's just trying to make it to the end. I mean, he had an engine problem, down a cylinder, just trying to get to the end.
He was just a victim. A cloud of smoke, and here they come.
Yeah, we didn't have a wreck this big in the Daytona 500 last week.
Well, it's bad for a whole bunch of guys. Joe Nemechek doing a nice job today in a 34 car.
10th caution flag of the day. Stenhouse car has stopped at the entrance to the garage, and Ricky climbs out. Red flag is displayed, and the field is stopped on the back straightaway.
Red flag for this.
Made it back to his pit before the red flag. So did Joe Nemechek, Greg Biffle, and Clint Boyer.
Made a nice crossover move right there to get to the outside of Jimmy Johnson. That Floyd's fighting with a little bit off the corner, but he got a nice head of steam coming down the back here. Jimmy
right behind him for the lead. Johnson, Earnhardt, Harvick, Kenseth.
Yeah, Kenseth lost ground in 1 and 2, but he fought back hard off turn 2.
Holding his own pretty good now once he got going. I thought Dale Jr. had a little something for Jimmy Johnson in a 48 car, but he can't hang with him. Based on what I'm seeing, we may have another restart here in a second. These guys are racing hard. I mean, not giving anybody any slack. You take mid-pack right there, Mike Larry. These guys are all over each other.
2 or 3 laps to get everything you can get before those tires start to fall off.
Well, you can tell this race is coming to a close because Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr. both just ran their fastest lap of this race.
3 wide off turn 2.
Yeah, don't forget that's the 2 car, Brad Keselowski. He came to pit road. He got 4 tires, and he's making use of them.
Edwards all over Casey Kane. Here they come through the picture, and they are really been battling hard these last 2 laps. Now Kane's a lap down, but he's still in there and fighting. Edwards back at 12. And they're tracking Brad Keselowski, who goes to work on Eric Almirola.
Yeah, those 4 tires are definitely paying off for Brad. I mean, he's going to pass a lot of cars that I don't think he would have been able to pass had he stayed out.
And I think that's what Paul Wolf and Brad Keselowski were thinking. Probably not a race-winning move, but we're going to have a much better finish than we probably would have had.
Well, he's already in the top 10, and of course he's been up in the top 6 or 7 there for just for some of these cautions. But I think he's going to get back there with those 4 tires.
10 laps to go in Atlanta. Allgaier got a bump there from Hornish. 5-hour energy. Big move of the race is this restart. Or Jimmy Johnson under fire from Dale Earnhardt Jr. Martin Truex looking in. Kevin Harvick on the bottom. Joey Logano on the top. And Jimmy Johnson, after battling Dale Earnhardt Jr., is able to pull away. That's the 5-hour energy. Big move of the race.
I will say this, though, Junior made a nice move on that restart to cut through the middle and get to the outside and put a little pressure on Jimmy Johnson. You know, Larry, you run those lap times you're running there for those first couple laps after the restart. I think they were running wide open around this place.
Had to be close to it.
Goodness.
4 of the lead lap cars set their fastest lap of the race just after that restart. What's that on the front end of Earnhardt's car?
It looks like he won Daytona with a piece of tape on the car. Let's see.
Oh, that.
It looks exactly like that Daytona tape. Remember when he picked that up at the end of the race?
He hit it that hard, it'll push that grill in. That came off Clint Boyer's car.
But with 7 laps to go, you don't even think about it or talk about it.
He's about 1.7 seconds back of Jimmy Johnson. And now that gap's beginning to grow. Kevin Harvick for second.
These old engines have been working hard today, buddy. And here you are right at the end of the race, coming up on 500 miles plus practice. And then you throw a little extra heat in that thing, and probably might hurt the performance just a little bit at the end here.
We talked about drivers who would race up from the back of the field. 3 of the top 4 started outside of the first 15 rows. 31st on back.
Well, we're coming to 5 to go. I want to give props to 2 drivers. A.J. Allmendinger in his 47 car. He's hung in there. He's running in 7th with a pretty good cushion over another driver. What a great run from Brett Moffitt in his 55 car, substituting for Brian Vickers. Brian will be back, but what a run for Brett Moffitt.
Agree, Larry. 2 great runs.
Brian Vickers was atop the hauler yesterday watching practice. Got to feel good about his chances when he comes back in the seat next week after the fine run that they have had here in Atlanta.
Moffitt's, he's a rookie, but he drove like a veteran today. I mean, he just stayed out of trouble, kept his nose clean, stayed in the race. Here we are, late in the race, running 8th. Good job, buddy.
Johnson Harvick, a familiar sight. I said 3 out of 4 earlier. Now I think it's 4 out of 5. Last wins for Jimmy Johnson. Kevin Harvick's been the 2nd place car.
I think, Mike, this is also the 6th first or 2nd place finish for Kevin Harvick.
I'm ahead of myself. That's if they continue to run 1-2 to the checkered flag.
Joey Logano in 5th, and you see that other yellow car up there. We talked about Matt Kenseth. I think they knew not a race-winning move staying out, but he's still hanging in the top 5.
Yeah, and there's Logano, who had a really fast car the first part of the race. Kind of lost a handle on it, but he's fighting back here and he's running in the top 5.
So I like Matt Kenseth's logic. And but we lost Leonard Nimoy this weekend. Kenseth is the most logical of Sprint Cup drivers. He said on new tires, we're not going to pass as many cars as we'd lose spots to if we stayed out. That's been the case. He's 4th.
Well, I know we talk about all these people who had great runs today, but that team has impressed me with their just being tenacious and hanging in there and making gutsy calls to keep themselves in the race, and they're going to come home with a top 5 finish.
Zimmerman, you want good lap, 2-second lead.
2.1 seconds for Jimmy Johnson. Kevin Harvick holding constant, gaining just a little bit. Picking up a couple of tenths here on turn number 2. Here comes Johnson for his 71st career win. Jimmy Johnson wins the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500.
And guess what?
You're going through this thing last night. Thank you. Woo!
He's in the chase too, brother.
Good job, fellas.
Kevin Harvick gets to within 1.8 seconds at the
Great
checker.
job, Jimmy. Very, very proud of you, bud. Very proud of everybody on this race team. You guys worked so hard this week. I really appreciate it.
1, 2, 3 for Chevrolet with Dale Earnhardt Jr. third. Joey Logano's Ford fourth. Matt Kenseth's Toyota fifth. And Martin Truex sixth. AJ Allmendinger seventh.